How would you characterize, whether broadly or less so, the aspect of drunkenness in Tanakh in the Hebrew Bible?
Yeah, I would say that the widest kind of connotation with drunkenness is this idea of it bringing joy, of making the heart be merry.
Mm-hmm.
That
Psalms
it's a
104.
Yeah, that it's a gift from God, all the stuff in Ecclesiastes.
Mm-hmm.
That, God provides the grapes to make the heart be glad, or to cheer mortals and gods. That I think that there is this base assumption that alcohol is a good thing, that drunkenness is something that brings pleasure, brings social conviviality. It's used to celebrate. It's used for feasting activities. It marks the end of harvests and provides respite from hard labor after the calendar of working arduously has been successful and led to the bounty that God has provided. So I think that generally the common denominator understanding of drunkenness is very positive and is seen as a blessing and a reward that God provides.
It's also interesting in considering prohibitions of drinking, most notably Leviticus 10, but that's limited to not drinking on the job for the priests.
Yeah.
That's also in number 6 with the Nazir, but that's someone or Nazirah, who, man or woman, who wants to commit themselves, and of a few different prohibitions, they say, well, I'm going to abstain from drinking. But there's not really, and also, of course, Yom Kippur, so not drinking Yom Kippur. But beyond those 3 instances, there's not really prohibitions against drinking.
No, there's no and even there's no kind of super hard and set prohibition, and certainly nothing that would say kind of like, oh, here's a quantity that would be acceptable and here's another quantity that would not be acceptable. So there's a lacking of specifics. You're absolutely right that specific people that have a set of responsibilities, particularly when it comes to mediating in some way between God and the people, need to make sure that they are not getting drunk, and therefore they're not being limited or affected by alcohol in performing that role on behalf of God. So in Proverbs 31, it says that it's not for kings to drink wine or rulers to desire shekar, beer, because otherwise they'll drink and forget what's been decreed, and they won't be able to do justice. They won't be able to do God's justice. On the other hand, people who are poor and miserable actually should be given shekar and should be given wine, so that they can forget their misery. So I think that this, in addition to there's texts in Isaiah that talks about priests and,
by the way, this is another beer reference.
Yes, it is exactly, absolutely.
And one of the things I love about this is you don't give the bitter drink to someone who's embittered of spirit. Have you ever thought about that?
That's really
you give beer to the Ovid and wine to the bitter of spirit, but you can't give a bitter drink to someone who's already bitter.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah. So there's a inner poeticism going on.
There is, yeah.
Yeah,
fantastic. Again, here priests and prophets are the ones being targeted for drinking too much. So it's always these people, these elites that have specific roles of responsibility that are criticized for their alcohol consumption. And these are the minority people in society. This isn't a general ruling for ordinary people. Ordinary people are free to drink as they please, but people who have a requirement to carry out these really, really important roles that protect Israel, that maintain their state of ritual purity and peace and calm and wholeness, they need to make sure that they can do their job without making errors. And that's why they're advised not to drink alcohol.